everyone. In this journey of the nation, women, right from the birth of the country till now, have played a crucial and decisive role. These are women who have shaped the nation. They are involved in nation building. And today I have with me some phenomenal women right here, and it gives me immense pride to say that out of 15 districts of the capital city of India, that is Delhi, 6 are policed by women. What does their journey mean to them? Because this image of women in khaki, women policing districts of Delhi, what does it mean for them as they inspire one and all? Let me begin with you, Ms. Rangani. 75 years, how do you look at your journey, women's journey, and also the journey of India?
75 years since independence. It has been a wonderful journey. Since the day we got independence until today, I see many women coming up in all walks of life. They have created dent in the professions which were traditionally considered to be the domain of male. They have created a space for themselves in the social ecosystem, in the professional ecosystem, and yes, they have proved their mettle that they are no way behind the men, and a more equitable system has developed in the country. And I feel proud to be part of the country where women are giving equal responsibility in decision making, in execution, and also in planning.
Execution, planning, policing, running after robbers, chasing them. Does it make it any difference? I mean, is there any difference between a male DCP or a woman DCP, Ms. Kashyap?
No, absolutely not. I think that's what even Usha was referring to. The lines of separation are thinning down, and what you see here probably wasn't a imaginable scenario a couple of years ago. So I guess we are arriving at that spot wherein we could say that even in terms of policing, which is our profession, we don't see those lines of separation anymore. I think we could possibly be outperforming the men as well. So there is no separation.
And Ms. Amruta, when we look at some data, it is interesting that the proportion of women IAS officers stands at 17%, but women in IPS is further low at 9%. Do women opt more for IAS than IPS, and why is it?
Going by the data that you've just mentioned, it appears to be so. But if you see the trajectory of the women who are opting for IPS has also risen. It was much less before, and slowly the figures are improving. So as said earlier, I think women are also opting for IPS. They now no longer consider it to be a domain of only male personnel, and that I think is improving, and that mindset of people around, not just the women but the people around is also changing. Because of that, I think the figures would also improve further.
Also, I think a far more conducive environment and a more enabling environment in services like ours is also being focused at. So we have much more, I would say, gender sensitized environment to work with. So I'm sure, like Amruta has just mentioned, we're probably going to see better, entrance figures in our service.
Does it really come as a surprise to you that when we are looking at 75 years of independence, there are women DCPs, policing the capital, or would you have expected it better? Or perhaps this figure could have come in much earlier?
I think it's great. It's great to see women going out and working in all fields, including policing. So it really inspires parents, it inspires young women, and for girls who are getting an education now, they don't see themselves as handicapped in any way. So it's an enabling environment. I think it's very good. I think it's welcoming. It should have come earlier, but if it's happening now, it's very good. It's great, and I think it improves further. So
देर आए दुरुस्त आए.
Yes, of course, yes.
लेकिन देर से आए.
नहीं, उतना देर भी नहीं है. देखिए, if you look at it, see internationally also, it's in some countries you see a 50%, even more participation. But in most of the countries, women have really worked hard to come here. In our country, generations of women have worked hard.
Ms. Pandey, Give me a sense of the challenges that women face in policing.
Well, you chose the right question for me. Anyways, as an officer, when we join the academy, we are treated equal. We get the same training that our men counterpart get. Some of us have, less protein when we are growing up. So many of the things, physical activities that we are doing is a little bit of a challenge. I wouldn't say that it is not. But the ustads, our teachers who are there, our seniors, guide us through it, pep us up, our diet is looked after, and when we pass out, we are equals. When we join the service and we start, taking on the roles of additional SP, ACP, DCP, and further, many challenges that come across us, one of them, a very important one, is raising a family as well. Because we are young, we are getting married, we are bringing children in this world, and it's an important social responsibility which we cannot get away from. So one of the basic challenges that I think all our seniors have faced is raising a good family, happy children, while giving 100% of ourselves to the nation. In that, an enabling environment comes very handy. Presently, our families, our husbands, friends,
And everybody
sisters,
has to understand.
No, understanding though they already do, but they pitch in as well.
They pitch in.
Yeah. I hope that there is a time, and it is increasing, it is, every day improving, that there is a system which sustains women to go out and work worry-free as the men do. Sometimes I, end up saying that I don't have a wife, So, and that kind of, holds me back, and it enables me also, but it does hold me back as well. So since you've asked me this question, I want to answer it very truthfully.
Yes.
That systems are required, not only for me at this level, but also for women at constabulary, at inspector level. They require it much more than us.
Does it also have to do with the mindset that women have this mother's guilt?
No, I don't think so. Personally, if you ask me, my children are well taken care of by the support system that I have, my extended family.
So tell me, I want to understand from you, what is it like being a cop and a mother and multiple roles that you play?
So let's put it this way. So when you come to a field posting and when your children are small, for instance in my case, so the first night that I had to spend outside, which was probably the first or second day because some incident happened. So the time I had my child howling and crying and almost clinging to me like anything, to today when he says, "Mama, aapki night round kab hai? Mera TV party hone wala hai." So that's how we, how the children evolve with us as well. They learn to, take up the roles of their mothers also. And like she rightly said, I think the biggest takeaway from this would be this, that finally you do give the children a sense of having empowered women around them, which is I think what we badly need to change the attitudes in the society, which has been so far not very encouraging for the women per se.
Yes.
So I think that's something.
Yes, and Amruta, have there been instances where your subordinates have called you sir, and what your reaction has been?
Yeah, there are many instances when they've called us sir, I think every one of us. And the reaction was just normal because I think they are calling sir just out of respect. It's not that they are showing any kind of disparity that you're female, but even then you're being called sir instead of madam. But I think in their mind, it all, what they meant was to respect the officer. And not that to,
I differ on
not
that.
to show some gender disparity there.
Okay, what are your thoughts? Please go ahead.
I correct people if they call me sir. I am madam and I'm proud madam. And I correct them and I want them to understand that a sir in sir's role is sir, a madam in any role is madam. So I like to correct them.
Okay, DCP Chauhan, Delhi has seen several moments which have shaped the city or union territory. How do you look at those moments in the sense that Nirbhaya incident, for example? Did you get emotional while you were looking at those stories when it emerged, those protests that all of us participated in? I was reporting and participating in protests because those were defining moments in the journey of a nation, you know, because the bills that came after that, the law changed?
So it was a watershed moment for many of us, and especially for women in this country, because see, these kind of incidents of assault upon women happen everywhere, all across the world. But in India, it is not only the physical assault or the sexual assault, it is an emotional assault, and moreover there is an element of stigma which was attached to it. So that makes it the worst. In other countries, it might happen to a woman, but there is an emotional trauma and there is a physical trauma. But the element of stigma that was attached, I think that kind of changed it in our psyche. Now we don't see a woman responsible if something happens to her. We see the society responsible. We see the systems responsible. So we feel that it has to be, it's emotional for all of us because it completely changed the way you look at women and women in society, and you know, as people who have a choice, who have their own life to, you know, look after, and it is not only one moment that defines her rest of her life. So even though she kind of fought and she lost her life, and we are all very sad about it, but it made that discussion brought it in mainstream, and it showed the kind of support that it has, you know.
Yes, and women officers perhaps bring in that compassion better than male counterparts. DCP Rangani, what has been the turning point in your policing tenure?
See, I joined, it was my first day of posting. I joined as ACP Kalkaji. So I was to go to meet my DCP for calling on. We have to call on our seniors. So I called sir, said that I was seeking time from him, but then he said, no, you go straight away to the police station. A minor girl has been violated and you go there and attend her because it is a very, very sensitive issue. So I immediately went there, and I was very, very disturbed by the incident that happened. Just an 8-year-old girl was violated, and we were completely clueless who has done it. And so this was first day of my joining, and it shook my conscience. It caused me a lot of emotional pain, and I was really perturbed with the pain of that girl. She was in physical pain. Her family was also undergoing trauma. So my first priority was to console them, to counsel them, to ensure that she gets the best possible medical treatment. And yes, the biggest challenge was to nab the culprit. We worked extremely hard over this case because there was no clue. The girl was very small. She wasn't able to tell us much about the assailant. Yes, she was very intelligent, very smart. She gave us some small clues which helped us a lot. And we were finally, after around 3 months, yes, 3 months, we were able to nab that culprit. And it bring me a lot of satisfaction in my mind, in my heart. Yes, that now I am finally putting that person behind the bars, and I am able to do the justice to the girl, to her parents. And then since then I have been working very, very hard for the empowerment of girls, for the safety and security. As I have earlier also said that women's safety and security has always been the top priority of Delhi Police, not only after Nirbhaya but before Nirbhaya also. This was one of the very sad moments that happened in Delhi, sad incident that happened in Delhi. But the Delhi Police is extremely sensitive towards women's issue, their safety, their security, as well as their empowerment. And we have been organizing so many programs for their awareness so as to make them aware about their rights, how to fight, and also to equip them with the trainings of self-defense, which is very, very important. We don't train them to fight, but to flight in the situation of emergency, how they have to act. So this was one incident that has motivated me to work extremely hard for women's safety and security.
In terms of new age crime, we have seen internet play a role. The nature of crime has changed, the nature of harassment has changed because of social media. Is there a sudden rise in those cases of women reporting more about it?
Most certainly, yes. Yes, there has been quite an infusion of internet, you know, when you talk about cyber crimes, especially, you know, against women and children, sadly, also, they fall prey. So a lot of times I find that I would think that the ratio of sextortion, you know, crimes being reported, or cyberbullying, you know, or cyber stalking, or, you know, a lot of times blackmailing, you know, by their own known and, you know, close family friends, all of them are really, misusing the internet and the social space to, you know, do
And
all sorts
anonymity.
of anonymity, yes. And there's been quite a rise.
DCP Amruta, turning point in your policing career. Any incident, any case that you remember and you would like to share with us?
There are many cases actually. One can't be just pinpointed and told that this has been the turning point, but every day is a learning, every case is a learning, every workout or not working out of a case is a learning. So I would say there are many cases. I can straight away remember the first case which really moved me very early in my career. I was under training. I was in district posting as an under trainee, and we were on a night raids to GB Road. So GB Road is a place where you find women and who are involved in who are the victims, actually the victims who are in flesh trade. They are victims of flesh trade. So we were on a raid. The raid is one part, but the other part which moved me very much was the conditions that they were living, the conditions that they were provided, the inhuman conditions that they were forced to live in. That was one thing that troubles me throughout. And in similar cases, there are many cases. Like Usha said, there was an 8-year-old. In my case, there is a 2-year-old, where she has been violated by some known person. He has been a small hawker kind of a person, and he just saw the girl, lured her by giving small candy, and then the girl went and he took advantage of the situation. And these kind of instances really trouble us, but finally we try our best, ensure that the culprit is behind bars, and everything is a learning, everything is a turning point.
And DCP Pandey, do you all chat at the end of the day? Do you guys get time to share your experiences and learn from each other's way of handling cases?
Definitely. Each one of us is doing very well. Ma'am, Usha, Shweta, Amruta, they're all pioneers in their own, fields. So I definitely learn from each one of them. Each case that they work out, and it is covered in the media, it is discussed in our meetings, and we learn from their learnings. So
is there a lot of sisterhood that happens, or we have seen boys club everywhere? It happens everywhere in every profession. So is there some kind of sisterhood?
Definitely.
Meeting regularly, let's share notes.
Even if we don't meet, we ensure that we have each other's back.
Yes.
We don't do backbiting. We understand that boys have come this far only by supporting each other, and we are ensuring that the younger generation who is following our footsteps will also have that kind of support from us, and also a lot of hand holding from the seniors, officers, who are in the services, has helped us, and we ensure that for the juniors who are joining now.
And women cops in other states, is there some regular interaction that all of you have?
Yes, we have. I would not like to talk too much about it, but we do have an informal group where we can share our angst, we can share our happiness, we can share our pride, we can share our issues, and even the retired officers are there in that group, and they help us out.
Delhi recently has seen several incidents, protests rising as well. Farmers' protest is one example. We did see communal violence happen in part of Delhi. Protests happening on campuses as well. Do you see these as challenges, or are these protests which are part of the ecosystem that we see? It's a nation which will have democratic protests.
No, of course. See, in a democracy, there will always be a discussion, and there will be protests. There will be always, and this is how you grow as a society. Because if everybody agrees to the same thing, then there is no discussion and there is no growth. So of course there will be, this is a part of our democratic system, there will be protest. Of course they shouldn't go out of hand. For as a police, personally you always see that yes, this shouldn't go out of hand, there should be law and order at the end of the day, and there shouldn't be any kind of violence involved. So me being in Central District, it is like my bread and butter, it happens every day.
Yes.
So every day I have several protests. So there are sites where I have protests and there are police arrangements every day.
So, Ms. Rangani, when you first wore this uniform, first day when you wore this khaki, what was the reaction of your parents, if you remember, and what was so special about it?
They were very proud to see me in this uniform. I still remember my father was very, very apprehensive. He was very reluctant to send me to Delhi for studies also. I was never allowed to step out of my city, Agra. I was born and brought up in Agra only. So he never allowed me to go for even studies in Delhi. I always wanted to go there. He said, no, I feel that Delhi is unsafe for women. That is the opinion about with many people. He also felt the same. So he said, no, I won't allow you to go to Delhi. If you want to crack this exam, just sit in home and study. I'll bring you all the books and do it. So, and he didn't trust me that much that I'll be able to clear this exam. When I cleared this exam and I got Agmut carded Delhi itself, so he was still very, very apprehensive. So I said, if you trust your values that you have inculcated in me, then allow me to go. And then he, obviously he trusted his values, and I've been performing to the best of his expectation.
And DCP Amruta, have there been some moments in your life and your entire career where you would have thought that shayad ye nahi karna chahiye tha, I would have given more time in other things and maybe have had a family life? Or, you know, women make choices, and this is a choice that you have made.
I think every one of us have their own bunch of regrets in life. So, but definitely this is not one of them. There are other things, but in my career so far, there are certain instances where I felt I could have done something much better, in a much better way, but not regret the entire thing totally. But yeah, I had times when I felt that I should have done it in a much better way, so that it could have been much better. So those are always there, and I think the self-assessment is the best thing to improve one's performance and one's attitude. So I think that will continue.
What is this attitude that you need, DCP Esha, to look in control? Do you think you have to really have that attitude, which is needed? You have to send a message that I may be a woman cop, but I am in charge and in control.
Nobody cares if you are a woman cop when you are a DCP. You are a DCP. You are in charge for a district. A protest is happening. There are 2,500 people who are looking up to you to give them command. They don't care if you are a woman. Your boss doesn't care if you are a woman. You are a DCP, and even if there was a man DCP, he would be expected to do the same things that a woman DCP is expected to do. So there is no distinction as far as the post of DCP is concerned. So that is the attitude. Survive and never say never. That is what it needs to be.
Let me start wrapping this discussion, and I'm going to ask all of you to share your thoughts about what do you think will be primary going ahead when India achieves 100 years. What do you think should be seen on that day?
More women in public roles, of course. So more women in politics, in decision-making places, more women in maybe bureaucracy, policing, and a society which is truly equitable.
Yes, and when you entered police, you had fewer role models, and all of you are role models to all the girls out there watching this show.
That's exactly. I think we're on the right path right now, and if we continue to stay consistent with this, I think the 100th year will probably have, I guess, 10 out of 15 is, women DCPs.
No, I think when India reaches 100 years, one thing I would like to see is the change of perception in the society. Right now, the perception is very far from what it has to achieve. Even today, the perception still exists that woman is supposed to take care of the family, take care of the children, take care of the household, sit in the household, not work too much like any other male counterpart from morning till evening. They are expected that they restrict themselves to one kind of work and not do the other kind of work. And women still, as Usha was also mentioning, that they are not allowed to go far off places, but the male kids are allowed, the boys are allowed, the girls are not allowed. If they want to pursue careers or studies in abroad, then mostly they are felt unsafe and they are not allowed to go there. So I think that perception has to change, and that perception will change only when things at the ground level are changed.
DCP Esha, your final thoughts and final words. Would you say that perhaps on 100th year you would not want a show like this where we are talking about with only women DCPs.
No, we would always want a show like this because we really enjoyed it. So yeah.
Thank you. Yes, please.
See, my thought is that two-pronged, agency and choice. So women should have choice to choose whatever they want to choose and not be judged for it, and agency to achieve what they want to achieve and not be judged for it. That is what I dream for India at 100.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. Thank you so much. It's an honor and pleasure to meet all of you, women in khaki. Absolute lovely image, and what you symbolize, what you inspire, it's even phenomenal. Thank you so much. Thank you, and thanks for watching.